Hi everyone, I'm Anine. I am new to the team at Global English, and I'm really excited today to be joined by Emma, who is actually joining us from France. She completed her 250-hour course, I think, with Global
Yep,
English
that's right.
quite a while ago, but she's done such amazing things since then, and she's just going to chat to us today about maybe her starting with her time that she taught English in Germany, and she's now in France. So, Emma, take it away.
Hi, pleased to meet you. Yes, I had actually tried to do a course, a TEFL course, sort of before I went on to Global English, and it didn't really work out for me. So then I had a bit of a break, and then I found Global English, and I just loved it. I loved the course, and I made it sort of through, worked my way through it, and yeah, I did the 250 hours advanced, so I got my certificates and everything, and it just made a huge difference to my teaching. But it kind of opened a lot of doors. I had a degree already, and in France, kind of they need a degree most of the time, but they also want a teaching certificate. You have to have that. And everybody that I've contacted, everybody that I've worked with since then, have been, more than happy. They've took my certificate, even though it's like 6, 7 years old now. It still carries some weight. And so definitely it's been really, really useful for me, for working across the board, really. I've worked um, in France, but I've worked for online as well for different companies. And so, yeah, it's 100% worth doing, I would say.
Emma, what was your time in Germany like? What kind of teaching were you doing there?
Well, I work for companies like Coca-Cola, Siemens, some of the big, big companies, Betty Ford. I'm a bit strange, but there we go. I was accepted with companies like Lingua, Wall Street, Kern, all of the big teaching companies, as well as sort of the smaller schools. So I did mostly business English, but I had people who just wanted to um, kind of improve their English. They might be going traveling, things like this. And so it was a real mixture. Some children, but mostly sort of business English, and that led into actually going into companies, like as a corporate trainer as well, not just sort of one-to-one, but that led into corporate training, which was groups of up to 10 people in a boardroom. So it really covered everything.
Hmm. And what was your life like in Germany?
I love Germany. I know I'm in France, but Germany's really, it's a beautiful country. We were down in the south in Bavaria, so we were just next to Bamberg, next to Nuremberg. We could get down to skiing within a couple of 2 or 3 hours. We were in the mountains within a couple of hours. And Germany's just a really, really nice country to live. They are generally nice people. Um, Germany's a lot cheaper to live than France, but sort of work-life balance, you're not working all around the clock. You certainly get a lot of time off to go to the fests and all of the things that are happening over there. So Germany's lovely, really nice country.
And I know you had all different kinds of students in Germany, as you mentioned, but were there any specific challenges you had as an English teacher? What advice would you give to someone who is thinking of teaching English in Germany?
Um, to be fair, sometimes the cultural differences, it takes a while for you to get used to. When I got to Germany, I didn't speak any German at all. Obviously, I was there for quite a while, and so I picked up the language. but some cultural differences. But generally, the Germans, they speak really, really good English. They learn English in school, so the level that you're teaching is normally kind of B1, B2, you know, higher level. So not speaking the language isn't a kind of a hindrance at first, because if you go in as a business, you know, you're already having to speak English, and so not having German isn't really a big issue, because there's always going to be somebody who will speak English. There's always somebody who can kind of help you out. And you do learn German. You pick it up quite quickly as well, so it's not too bad.
Mm. Right. And you've decided to move to France. When did that happen? And what
Well,
something did you
we
start
moved to
doing?
France. We had a holiday home in France, and so when we were on holiday in Germany, like school holidays and stuff, then we would come over to France and stay here. And so we just decided that we would stay here. You know, I've got 5 kids, so that's another reason why teaching has been brilliant for me, because every school holiday I get off. I don't have to worry about childcare, all of these things, because I sort of share the school holidays. Um, and so we decided to stay over here. The children, you know, really like it in France. They sort of um, are fully integrated in French schools. They play for local sports teams and all of those things. So yeah, we're definitely sort of like it over here. Again, it's different. The French aren't particularly I can't say they're not good at English, but compared to being in Germany, the French don't have as good a level in schools and things like that. So there's a few more challenges because there's less people speak English, certainly in the smaller towns. But the English curriculum in schools and in businesses, it's obligatory now. So all schools, all students have to learn English as a second language. So it opens a lot of doors for soutien scolaire, which is like homework help. But also all companies now also, you know, expect their employees to speak English. So there's lots and lots of opportunities out there.
Yeah, and you now just teach online. How has that worked for you?
Um, yeah, it was because of COVID, you know, for many years we've kind of pushed to be able to do teaching online, and a lot of the teachers or a lot of the companies that I was working with were a bit hesitant. But then because after the pandemic, you know, we moved online essentially. So I now teach online. I teach about in between 20 and 25 hours a week, sometimes a little bit more. Again, it fits around my children being at school. So I start around 8:30 in the morning and I finish around about 4 o'clock because my daughter comes in from school about 4:30. So, you know, I make up my own hours. I can set my own prices, and you know, there's constant work. You're constantly working. I could do more. I could probably work 30, 40 hours a week if I wanted to, but I don't. And so again, I prefer to just keep that like a nice sort of, not too much but not too little.
And lastly, what would you say to someone who's still a bit undecided as to whether they should do a course with Global English or not?
Oh, 100% so. I looked at other courses, like I mentioned at the beginning. I tried to study with other providers. I've actually recommended Global English to a neighbour of mine who also went and did the 120-hour course a couple of years ago. My son is 19, and I've also spoken to him about doing a course because he's wanting to do like a gap year and wanting to work abroad. So, you know, 100% so. It really does pay off. You know, and if people are worried about, is the certificate going to match up to some of the other certificates? It 100% does. You know, they will look at your certificate and they will take it as seriously as any other provider. So, you know, if you're wanting to work online, you're wanting to work abroad, it just, you know, it is super, super useful to have. So I would definitely recommend it.
Emma, thank you so much for your time. It's been great catching up with you.
Yeah, no problems. Thank you very much. Nice to see you.